Hello, guys. We're just gathering fossils. Why are we gathering fossils, guys? Oh, because this week's profile is about Jurracs. Ha 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 ha. No, but seriously, I'm going to do a Jurrac deck today. So if you don't want to watch it, turn off the internet, turn off your computer, do whatever. It's time for me to go back to what I always end up doing. Playing a fun deck. Not necessarily a tier 1 deck, but something that can compete on that level with a little bit of work. So this card is Fossil Dig. It's a Rhoda in disguise. Some people, who are watching my channel may not know what Rhoda is. Rhoda is Reinforcements of the Army, and it's one of the best cards in the game, hence it gets knocked down to 1 by the ban list. This, on the other hand, is a Rhoda, but not for warriors, but for dinosaurs. This means I can add any dinosaur that's level 6 and lower from my deck to my hand, effectively speeding up my deck and thinning it at the same time. It's pretty much the same thing, but you understand where I'm going from here. It's a great card. Now, why am I showing it to you? Yeah, that's because it's not on the ban list and I can run 3. So this has got me thinking, okay, well, we have Jurracs that are coming out that are all dinosaurs. Now, I've looked at Jurracs before, and I was kind of underwhelmed with some of their effects. But then something caught my eye. And I'll show you what that is. This card caught my eye. This is Jurrac Aeolo. It's a level 1 tuner. It's got an effect where you tribute it, and it special summons a level 4 or lower Jurrac from your graveyard to your field. It's a pretty badass little tuner. It's a fire. And what is this here? I don't know if you guys can tell, but its defense is 200. Now, what cards affect cards that are fire with a defense of 200? You got it. We're making a volcanic deck. No, that was a joke. This is going to be Flamvell and Jurracs mixed together. Now, I know it sounds a little crazy at first, but trust me, it works. I actually playtested this deck tonight. I beat Plant Synchro. I beat 6 Samurais 2 matches in a row. Now, is that always going to happen? Could I have been playing just a mediocre player? Yeah, that's possible. But a deck that can compete on that level while still not being a quote-unquote tier 1 and is still quite cheap to make, I think that's something worth sharing with you guys. So I want to go through it with you. If you're not exactly sure what Flamvells are, Flamvells pretty much rely on 200 defense fire monsters to make huge plays on the field. They have a couple of really good cards and a bunch of crappy ones. So we're going to take a bunch of good cards from Jurracs and a bunch of good cards from Flamvells, and we're going to throw them together, and it actually has pretty nice results. So let's go through the deck list. First off, I'm running 3 Jurrac Guaiba. Jurrac Guaiba's got 1700 attack. It's an effect monster with the effect of when I destroy a card in battle with this card, I can special summon a Jurrac with 1700 or less attack from my deck to the field. This acts much like a Shura, but the monster that special summon cannot attack, sadly. So it's got less attack, a little less useful of an effect, but it does effectively thin out my deck, speed things up, and make good plays. So we're running 3 Jurrac Guaiba. I believe it's a cornerstone of any Jurrac deck. Came out in a Hidden Arsenal 3, and I think they're about a quarter each online right now. Next, we have Jurrac Dino. This card's not tournament legal yet. It'll come out in Hidden Arsenal 4, which a ton of people will be buying trying to get Trishula. So this guy will be able, you guys will be able to get this for a quarter or 50 cents, whatever people want to charge. It's going to be relatively cheap. First things first, he's level 3. He's got 1700 attack, and he's a tuner. So we have a level 3, 1700 attack tuner. That's good. 1700 attack for a tuner? Hell yeah. He's also got the effect, though, if he destroys a monster, on that turn, he can tribute a Jurrac on the field to draw 2 cards. Now, he can actually tribute himself. So we run over a token in the battle phase, main phase 2, we tribute him, draw 2 cards if we see fit. So because it's got a good attack, it's a tuner, and it's got a pretty decent effect, we're going to run 3. Next, we have the card I was talking about before, Jurrac Aeolo. Jurrac Aeolo's got a cool effect that he can revive our other Jurracs from the graveyard and bring them out into the field. This becomes extra potent when it's combined with Rekindling. Rekindling is a power card used by Flamvells, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for right now, all you need to know is got 200 defense, level 1 tuner with the effect to revive by tributing itself. Next we have one Jurrac Velo. Jurrac Velo was a very, well looked at Jurrac card. It's got a 1700 attack, and it's a recruiter, not a Gravekeeper's recruiter, but a recruiter in the sense of like a Giant Rat or a Mystic Tomato. But he's kind of got a really big downside, and that's the fact that he has to be destroyed in a face-up attack position to get his effect. So he's less useful than any of those just for that reason. You can't set him, have him be attacked into. That being said, he is a 1700 attack. He can be searched with Guaiba. He can be pulled out by Aeolo. So we're going to run 1. Some people may run 2, but personally I think 1's a good number. Next, we get to the Flamvell side of things. We run 3 Flamvell Firedogs, and everyone knows that Flamvell Firedog is an amazing card. 1900 attack. Whenever you attack, it's got a Shura-like effect. It can special summon a monster with 200 defense. That's also fire. So that means Flamvell Magician or Jurrac Aeolo. I can't special summon another one of themselves, sadly. But that monster can attack, and you can also synchro with it. Great card. Any card of this type that has 1900 attack is just awesome. Can't say too much about the card. A cornerstone of the deck for sure. Next we have 2 Flamvell Magicians. Its effect is not important. What we need to know is that it is a Flamvell, 200 defense, and fire with 4 stars. So you go Flamvell, Firedog, destroy a monster, special summon your this guy, attack the Magician, and main phase 2, go to Stardust, do whatever level 8 you need, or make other plays depending on your situation. And we have 1 lone effect Veiler. I talked about in my other video how much I like the card. You don't need to run an effect Veiler. You could run another Velo if you'd like. You could run a Jurrac Gallum, which opens up Jurrac Meteor to you. Or you could run like a Flamvell Poon. Yes, I said Poon. Whatever you see fit. So I do want to just give you guys, kind of cheaper options of the deck. Because I know 10 to 20 bucks isn't an ideal just for one spot. So you could just fill the spot with another Velo or Flamvell Poon or whatever you want. Now, that's it for the monsters. It's a pretty tuner-heavy lineup. We got 9 tuners in here, but they all have a pretty decent attack. So, except for Aeolo, which has an awesome effect. So it can actually exist pretty well in between Rekindling plays. If you wanted to add oppression into the deck, you could. I currently do not have oppression in here. But as you all well know, Shura, which is the most popular variant of a card like this, when it attacks and special summons from the deck, that can't be oppressed because it's during the battle step or the damage step, whatever you want to call it. You can't oppress it. This is pretty much what I'm getting to. So you actually can exist around it pretty well. So if you have a pretty decent field presence and you flip over an oppression, you can actually exist if they somehow get around it. Next we have Fossil Dig. I already talked about it. You search out any dinosaur, which is any Jurrac that I'm currently running in this deck. You can have it at any point in the game, so you can turn this into an Aeolo, which you can turn to any Jurrac in your graveyard. It speeds up the deck, thins everything out, gives you great access to great monsters at great times. There's no reason not to run 3 in any Jurrac variant. Until this gets hit, enjoy it at 3, guys. If it gets hit, I don't even know. Who knows how good Jurracs can be? I'm just trying to kind of help you guys out. Next we have Rekindling. Now, we already talked about Rekindling, guys, kind of. Rekindling lets you special summon as many fire monsters with 200 defense from your graveyard. So this means that I can special summon a Firedog, a Magician, and 2 Aeolos. I can turn one of those Aeolos into a Guaiba, and, I can go nuts from there. You can hit Trishula, you can hit Mistworm on almost any turn. You can just explode. You can synchro and then play Rekindling and then just get 4 more monsters just to fill up the field even more. It's a game changer, it's great, and it's the reason why Jurracvell is able to exist. 3 strings. Now, why am I running 3 strings? Think hard. Now, what does Firedog and what does Guaiba do? They have to destroy monsters to get their effects. In addition, same thing with Dino. Remember, Dino, if he destroys a monster, he can tribute himself or another Jurrac to draw 2 cards. So we have 9 cards that can benefit from destroying monsters in battle. Now, we're not Blackwings. I never said we were. We don't have access to Clute. Well, Blackwings really don't have much access to Clute either anymore. But we do have access to Shrink. And a lot of people will argue that, maybe Enemy Controller or a Forbidden Lance here would be better. I like Shrink for its overall guarantee of my play going off. Think about it, guys. In the metagame, what's going to stop a Shrink? A Solemn Judgment? I'll take that trade-off if it's really that important to him. Who's really running Dark Bribe? A Xian could stop it, but you would have to let him get to that point for that to even be a problem. Point is, Trap Stun and 7 tools aren't going to stop you from making this play. Either they're attacking you, you let them declare their attack, and you drop Shrink, or you attack them, see if they have a response, then, drop Shrink from there. It really surprised a lot of people tonight. They're not really expecting it. Quick play magic cards are just not expected now that Book of Moon's at 1. Everyone's just thinking, oh, Book of Moon. So whenever someone plays a Shrink or an Enemy Controller, people are just shitting themselves. They're like, oh, shit, I don't know what to do about that. So, I really think Shrink is a great idea for the deck, as we have 9 monsters that can benefit from it being played. Next, I have 2 MSTs. I don't really need to explain it. Next, I have 1 Forbidden Lance, and a lot of people might be like, well, why don't you run 3 Forbidden Lance and maybe just 1 Shrink? I already went over it. I really think Shrink ensures that my plays are going to go off. If I were to, put this on a Scrap Dragon, I still won't be able to attack over it. It will save my monsters, and it does have some sort of offensive application, so I'm running 1. I might go up to 2, but as of right now, 1's testing really well. 1 Book of Moon, attack into a monster. They let it go through, chain a book, attack over it. It also flips over problem monsters. We all know what book does. I don't need to explain it. 9 tuners, Mind Control is staple, in my opinion. Making Mind Control almost live on any given turn when I'm running 9 tuners. You guys agree? I hope so. This is all just standard stuff right here. Nothing too expensive. We get to Solemn Warnings. I know these are pricey. You can fill them in with your own choice, maybe a compulsory, maybe a bottomless trap hole. Depending on how you feel, you could do, maybe 2 bottomless trap hole and 2 compulsories here. I really feel like those are some pretty good trats for the format, but I have the luxury of having warnings, so I'm going to run them. 2 warnings, 2 deep prisons. Fill in your 4 favorite traps in that spot, guys. Then these 3, I believe, are staple in almost every single deck. I used to not think so, but now I definitely do. So let's go backwards through the deck. I feel like I've pretty much explained all the parts I wanted to explain. We'll go over a few cards in the extra deck, and then you guys will be let out of class for the week. Rekindling's amazing, guys. Fossil Dig's amazing. These are power cards that are allowed because no one really plays Flamvells until this last, this last YCS. When did you ever see a Flamvell top? I know that there were variants that went out there, Flamvell Sworn. It's been around for a while. But, these cards are not being hit because they're not being abused in tournament situations. So, until Jurracs and Flamvell, or Jurracvell itself, makes an appearance, enjoy the ability to play 3 of each of those cards. Because if this somehow does really well at a YCS, or even just a Flamvell deck by itself, or a Jurrac deck by itself running 3 of those cards, one of them might get hit on the next ban list. So enjoy it now. It's the very beginning of the format. You have a lot of time. And I see that we're creeping up on 14 minutes, guys. Luckily, YouTube has allowed me to go over 15 minutes. I try not to do that because, personally, I tend to lose interest after a little while, but hopefully you haven't yet. Alright, first I have Jurrac Meteor. Jurrac Meteor is... I want to say it's good. I really do. But in my opinion, it's not. It's a 10-star. It requires 2 non-tuner dinosaur monsters and a Jurrac tuner. This means I have to pretty much use a Gallum, which I'm not using in the deck currently. You guys can look that up on your own time. I don't want to profile all the Jurracs. I might do it at a different time if I make a pure deck, but I don't have any way to summon this guy. Why is he in my extra deck? Just to look pretty for right now until I get another Black Rose Dragon. Because essentially this guy just nukes the field. It's a mandatory. He doesn't have an attack or a defense that you can use. So he comes out and he nukes the field, and then you special summon a Jurrac tuner from your graveyard to the field, and that's kind of his effect. He's level 10. I feel like I can use 10 stars better than that. Next we have, I won't go over the standard ones, let's go. Gigonoto. This guy is pro. He's level 7. We get 7s really easy. And for every Jurrac in the graveyard, he boosts all Jurracs on the field by 200. So say it's mid-game, we have 4 Jurracs in there. He's going to be all the way up to 2,900. Now with the deck and with Rekindling, it's very possible for us to get 2, maybe even 3 of these guys out at a time, and they're effectual stacks. So at that same point, if I had 2, it would raise the attack by, that's right, another 800, so it would be up to 1,600. So he'd be all the way up to 37, and if we had another one on the field, be at 37 too. We're looking at 2 3,700 beat sticks, and that's actually quite a bit for opponents to deal with, as I'm sure you know. Granted, there are ways to get around it, but not everyone's running. And then this is Jurrac Velphito, kind of the redhead stepchild, because he'll almost never synchro for him. You'll use them in situations where you're looking at a face-down spy or a Ryko, and you pretty much know it, or a hamster. Pretty much what this does is you synchro 2 cards together. It gains the combined attack. So in my deck, it's going to be about a 1900 attack. But when it attacks the monster that's face down, it doesn't get its flip effect, and it's just destroyed, and nothing happens. Before damage calculation even. So even if it's a higher defense and whatever, it's face down, it's just going to destroy it automatically. And it's not a terrible effect. I certainly wouldn't run more than 1 in the deck, but he does do work against, you know, like a Ryko or a Spy. So pretty much that's the profile, guys. I don't want to keep you much longer. I know 17 minutes talking about Jurrac seems like a lot, but I feel like the deck needed a little bit of an explanation, since a lot of the cards are, you guys are either hearing of for the first time or seeing for the first time. So if you have any questions, by all means, go ahead and leave a comment. If you want me to make a pure video of Jurracs, I might do it. Please don't comment about why are you not using Tyrannus or Titano. I don't like the Tribute Jurracs, guys. I don't like Protops. I don't like Monloth. What I have in this deck, I'm using the Jurracs I like, and I'm using Flamvells I like, and I'm using Aeolo to tie everything together. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. If not, until next time, guys.